Conor, a very good result, a very good performance. You must be really proud tonight.
Yeah, I thought the lads were fantastic tonight. Early on in the game, I thought we suffered a bit, and we had to change the press, and we added Didsy to the press, so we added another body forward, and I thought that felt like it was kind of the trigger to kind of get us going really. Then we got the goal back, had a couple of chances on the transition as well, and if there was anyone kind of going to score another goal before the end of the first half, it was going to be us. The end of the first half probably come at a stage where we were on top, which was a little bit disappointing from our point of view. And then obviously coming in at half time, the lads, got a little bit of information, and in second half we had to suffer for long periods, but I thought the lads came through in a really strong way.
Yeah, you mentioned the first half there. Probably not the most ideal of starts, but the response to the goal, going on from that point and the rest of that first 45 minutes was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I thought they were outstanding. I thought the crowd was outstanding. The energy that they brought as well. Adding that extra body to the press really stopped their rhythm and stopped their flow, which was really, really important. It was really important that we changed that press pretty quickly, and then from that moment on, really, we kind of got a good foothold in the game.
Would you say that's really what you're wanting from a Conor Hourihane team, to be honest? That high tempo, intensity, giving everything, creating chances. Is that what you'd want from one of your teams?
Yeah, I think yes is probably the answer to it. But I think every team gives you different challenges. You have to high press and you have to be aggressive against a Cardiff team because they want to look after the ball and control the game with the ball. Exeter at the weekend, we're going to have more ball and they're going to sit back, so we have to win the game in a different way. So I think every team brings different challenges. We want to high press and be aggressive against teams that let us do that. But against a game like Exeter, you have to control the game in a different way because they sit back. So I think we're picking up points in different ways at the minute, which is pleasing. Late Orient, we had to grind it out towards the end of the game. Exeter, we controlled the game. Tonight, we had to, be kind of really solid and suffer at times and come through it. So the lads are showing different ways to pick up points, which is important.
It's obviously a great point against a great side in this division, but Barnsley even had chances to win the game or at least take the lead at that time. So in a sense, I bet there's that frustration still there.
Yeah, they dominated the ball and there's no getting away from it, but I do think that they didn't create loads of clear-cut chances, and the two or three that we created was more clear. So could there have been an opportunity for us to grab a second? Yes, but on the kind of on the night, really, it was probably a really good point from our point of view. The biggest pleasing thing for me is we had Wickham 7 days ago, last Tuesday night, and it was a poor night for everyone. We were all disappointed. We've really done some hard work in the classroom on the grass when we've had the opportunity to do it, because obviously there's been a couple of games since in a short space of time, and the lads have bounced back with flying colours really. So that's been the biggest thing, the biggest pleasing thing over the last two games.
You've touched on it slightly already, but the second half performance and needing to dig in, you must be really proud of that. Not just in isolation tonight, but overall defensively, the team improving. There's been questions asked obviously this season about the team defensively, but it's clear to see that there's improvements being made in that department.
Yeah, they've been fantastic, and I think since Leyton Orient, we conceded one at Leyton Orient, one at Wickham, one at Exeter, even though we shouldn't have conceded on that day, one tonight. So we're definitely looking more solid and giving ourselves every single chance of picking up points in every single game. If we can keep that going and be better on the ball at times in certain games and still create the chance that we're creating, we'll pick up more points along the way.
Make no mistake as well, that's against one of, if not the best sides in the division. A performance like that and a positive result, of course. I guess the message now is that Barnsley need to replicate that going forward and perform like that against anybody, and they can come away with the result, can't they?
Yeah, that's always the challenge. You always want to stay consistent and push for them kind of performances consistently. We've done it in little patches. We've done it since Wickham, which has been good, but it's only 2 games. And I think this week now is going to be a massive one for us. We got Mansfield, we got Wigan, we got Donny. And if we really want to make something of our season or push up that table, we need to get some good points returned from them 3 games. If we do, great. And let's just see how the next 3 games go.
I thought the fans were excellent tonight, Conor. It gives the team a real boost, doesn't it, when it's an Oakwell that's behind the team and really cheering on the players. Yeah,
no, it was great. The energy was brilliant, and I think adding that extra body to the press, and they could see how aggressive we were going to be from that moment on, it got them behind us. But we need that all the time. There's been some home games, when we've dominated the game in a different way, and we still need that energy. We still need that, energy and atmosphere from the crowd, in every single game. So, look, it was great tonight. It was really pleasing from everyone's point of view, but we need to keep that momentum and energy going in the next couple of home games as well.
And just finally, you've already touched on Mansfield at the weekend, but going into that now, again, replicating this tonight, but almost not dwelling on this performance too much and going into that Mansfield game as a fresh game, fresh opposition, and hopefully another good performance.
Yeah, exactly. Look, it would be a completely different game. Away games feel and look really, really different at all levels. The pitch isn't great there as well after kind of analysing him over the last couple of days. They got a win tonight against Reading, I think it was. So, yeah, look, it's going to be a different challenge completely. Then tonight, we'll have more spells on the ball, than we did tonight. And we need to, show that kind of resilience that we did then as well without the ball to try and get the result that we want.